Welcome to episode 142 of Soccer Over Gotham. This is the Breaking the Wave edition. We have a great show for all of you. I'll tell you what we have on this episode. It's a good one. So first, Gotham is rising. A dominant second half earned Gotham third place in the regular season standings. Gotham also beat an academy team in Canada, has all but earned a spot in the CONCACAF W Champions Cup semifinals. We'll get caught up on that. And then Gotham finishes their three-game West Coast road trip against Bay FC this weekend on Sunday night. We will talk about that. But listen, folks, this is like the craziest table we've seen in a long, long time. Couple of games left. Gotham shares third place with four other teams. So we're still scoreboard watching. We're going to do a little bit of that. Then we're going to discuss the incredible growth of women's sports and the NWSL to close out this episode. But first, I haven't been here in a little while, Noela. How are you?
Fully enjoyed my summer vacation, transition back into work and everything, and obviously coming back to the show. I think at a peak moment for
Yeah.
Gotham.
Yeah, no
How was your
doubt.
summer?
It's been great. Got a crazy day today, but I'll get through it. Just shout out to Sam Kerr. Sam Kerr is back on the field. She scored her 100th career goal. Amazing. Hashtag once Gotham. We love Sam Kerr. She's a legend in the sport. Just happy for her. This morning, Noela, I went to the park and I did some sprints. I also shot a little bit of basketball, and I felt like I shot about as well as the Liberty did last night. Uh,
Oh no.
Sorry, Liberty. You got to step it up. One game left in their opening series. It's a best of three series. It's 1-1. If any team can turn it around and take it to the next level, it's the Liberty. So they play Friday against the Phoenix team, and then if they win, they move on to the second round. So it's a do or die game. Let's watch it on ESPN2 Friday night. Now, everybody should subscribe to us on YouTube. We're building our army up there. It means the world to us just to subscribe to us on there. But Noela, let's just jump into it. There's a lot to get into. First, we got some roster news. A player is not leaving. A player is not coming. A player is staying. And that is Sarah Szczepanski. She has signed a contract extension with Gotham FC through the 2027 season. Obviously, we're super excited about it, and what an incredible talent. And she showed off in the game, which we'll get to in Canada. But Noel, your thoughts on keeping a talented rookie for a little bit longer?
Incredible move by Gotham. Obviously tied for most assists in the NWSL as a rookie. Leads Gotham in assists, so her value for the team is indescribable. I think it's great also that she's a young player. I know there used to be a big thing like for us like a few years back saying that we didn't have like youth like younger players and a base that we could build off of, and Szczepanski obviously is a player that I think Juan Carlos Amoros and the full team can rely on and build around for a long time. So it's really, really exciting to see.
Yeah, she's a very unique player. Like no one else plays like her. And as you saw in the game against Vancouver or the Rise Academy team, if you give her any bit of space at all, she's going to find feet, no matter where you are on the field. Just an incredible player, incredible vision. When I saw her a little bit in college, but when I saw her highlight tape, I was like, okay, this player is different. She can play, and I knew she was going to surprise some people, and I'm glad that she did. She started off the season really strong. The grind of the season kind of seems to be catching up with her. So good that Gotham are giving her a couple of games off and getting back in the flow. She looked refreshed against Vancouver, and she looked excellent. You mentioned she's leading the league in assists. She's leading nearly the league in expected assists at 3.39, and she's got one of the top accurate long balls. Chances created. She's created 28 chances so far. She's got 32 successful crosses, which is high, nearly the top of the league. And she's dribbling. She has dribble success. She's got a lot of touches. And she's also won a lot of fouls around the box. So she's just been a dangerous attacker, and just can't wait to see her grow and grow and grow. And glad we have her for a little bit longer. She is also very high on recoveries and duels won. So if you're playing for Gotham, you have to play on both sides of the ball, and she's been doing that very well. So just again, glad to have her here. And now let's get onto this game. The first one, San Diego Wave. For me personally, like I had revenge on the mind. Reason being is because early in the season they played the Wave, and this was like, if it wasn't the game, it was definitely one of those games where you were like, okay, something is wrong here at Gotham. Something is off. Something needs to be changed. Something's not working. The Wave basically played keep away for 85 minutes against Gotham. Gotham has shifted from like a very high pressing team to a high pressure team. So they're like against the Wave, Gotham tried to really high press the Wave. And when you're not pressing, when you're high pressing and one or two players is not in line with everybody else, you're going to get picked apart and pulled apart. And that's what San Diego did. They basically pulled Gotham all around the field. So I wanted to see how Gotham made adjustments for the Wave this time around. And I'm happy to say that they did. Gotham is an excellent road team, Noela. They have, I think, only lost 3 of their last 25 away matches, which is pretty darn crazy. They're better away than they are at home, which is sad for the fans, but it is what it is. It's good to be a good team on the road. The lineup was very good. I mean, we had Jalen Howell, Rose Lavelle, and Midge Purse in the midfield, which was amazing. Bernina on the outside. It's good to see Bernina getting a good run of starts. I think she is in top form. Just your thoughts of like getting Howell and Lavelle on the field at the same time and Bernina getting continued starts.
I think a lot of it has to do with the format and the style of play that Juan Carlos Amaros plays, especially on the road. I think he recognizes really well that any home team is going to want to keep possession, want to play out from the back, and want to pressure in this way. So it was really really exciting to see him put out this lineup and kind of make sure that when the team was pressing forward, that it was a collective effort. And obviously, we'll get into the first goal for Gotham, but they were able to really read the play well and take advantage of the field conditions to be able to press and take advantage of their mistakes. But obviously, having Lavelle back from like, yeah, I know she's been on and off with like injuries and stuff, and having her with Howell, who has had also we'll talk about it later, a really standout season. Them two together is really, really, really exciting to see, especially right before playoffs. Having that combination and then gelling together and putting together a lot of like really threatening chances, it's going to be really exciting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And just quickly, like that that field's always been a nightmare for us. Like every seems like every time we go there, it's either been like just played on with like college football and it's torn up. And like I remember that one game we lost like McCall and another player to like ACL injuries on that field. And this time it was just like a swamp. Like you seem like the like you go from CONCACAF in El Salvador where the ball just ran because it was a turf field to like a grass field that's super wet, so the ball was just stopping
Dragon.
short a lot. Yeah, indeed. So that was crazy. But they hung in there. And then just on tactics wise, as we talked about just a second ago, Gotham was not high pressing as much in this game. They were really letting San Diego hold the ball in the back. They were basically a flat 4 midfield. So they just were not pressing their back line. They were really attacking the pivots. So they weren't able to push the ball forward. And it worked for Gotham for the most part. They were able to keep San Diego on their side of the field and allow them, again, to play out of the back. Speaking of playing out of the back, Gotham when they do press, they press hard and good on Jace. She catches San Diego playing back to Sheridan, who we know likes to play with the ball at her feet and sometimes holds on to the ball too long and makes some pretty poor decisions. You know, not that Berger doesn't do that either, but but yes. So Jace catches Sheridan, the ball falls to Astaire, and Astaire has a like 30 yards sitter and just rolls it in. It was good to get a goal out of that because this was not a fun first half. It was very too much two teams just trying to feel each other out.
I will also say, I was a bit concerned the opening like 10, 15 minutes
Mm-hmm.
because Cascarino for San Diego obviously is such a threatening player. And down that right side, they had a few opportunities early on to get shots. And Berger obviously did really well to deflect and read a lot of these plays really well. So for us to be able to take advantage of this mistake, especially on this field, was really, really important, I think, to head in and try and take an early lead versus, like you said, a team that we've struggled a lot in the past to try and pick apart and try and understand their tactics. So it was great on them to take advantage.
Absolutely. And Astaire is up to 13 on the season. And she's only 2 Sky Blue players have top 10 goals in a season. That was Sam Kerr at 17 and Astaire herself at 13. So she is close to getting the record for this club, which is crazy because you didn't think anybody could catch Sam Kerr. And like this team has never had a lot of like dominant scores. So it's good to see one player, Esther, reaching for that record. Just good to see. And then, I mean, J to J. So Jaden Shaw scored her on her debut in San Diego for the Wave. She also scored, I think, on her U.S. Women's National Team debut on that field in San Diego, and she scored her debut for Gotham on that field as well. Is there a player in the league playing better than Jalen Howell at this point? I'm not quite sure. What a ball in, right at the perfect level. Easy for a player of Jaden Shaw's talent to be able to just flick that onto the net. We're just happy for her, and yeah, it's great.
Very, very exciting. I mean, obviously, everyone was excited when we first found out that she was going to come over to Gotham. And then to see an immediate impact like this, like for a player, there's nothing better for you to be able to get on the field as a sub and score immediately in your first game for your team. So very, very, very excited for her.
Yeah, and she's happy to be here. It's still a weird feeling being a fan of this team for so long that like players are like happy to come here. I'm still in that mode of like players like refusing to come to this team, and it's a completely different world now where like players are like crying because they're here. It's like it's it's definitely different. I mean, Gotham is built to handle teams that come out to play. If they sit in, it's going to be very difficult for Gotham to break down because we go direct, right to goal. So when the Wave, when we first scored on the Wave, they had to break out of their shell, had to come out, and Gotham was turning them over and basically held them in check for the rest of the game. And again, that was good to see. So a lot of what's good for Gotham happens when they score first. So especially on the road. And as you mentioned, that teams like to play out when they're at home. They don't like to sit in when they're at home. They want to show off for the fans, and that works to Gotham's favor. This is what they call a 6-point game. Another win on the road. 5 wins, 3 draws, 2 losses on the road this season. 8 wins, 2 draws, 3 losses on the road in 2024. Gotham is just good on the road. Teams come out to play. Gotham punishes them for it. Any player notes for this game?
For myself, I thought Lavella was just very exciting to see her back out on the field. She had a good couple of plays that I felt like just weren't able to properly finish, or some mistakes later on after passes were made weren't correctly executed. But for me, I think she's going to be a really, really vital player for the team going into playoffs. So as much connection that she can get with a lot of these like players that have had more games on them this season, I think is going to be really valuable for the team.
Yeah, she always turns it up when she needs to. So yeah, excited to have her down the stretch. One thing that was interesting about San Diego is Gotham turned them into like a one-trick pony. Like they ran out of ideas like in the 65th minute. They were just trying to force the ball down the left side and then get balls across. And honestly, like I was thinking about it, I'm like, how many times are they just going to launch balls into the box because Berger's just going to eat them up every single time. It was just too easy for Berger in this game to just command her box. Good on Gotham for being able to force San Diego into being one trick team. Then Berger ties a club record for clean sheets set by herself and Brittany Cameron in 2013. She's going to break that record hopefully very, very soon. We're just lucky to have her. This team, Noela, is a late season team. Juan Carlos has this thing where he does a lot of experimenting throughout the season, and I don't think that losses bother him that much. I think he thinks everything as a learning situation, so he throws players in that maybe don't get a lot of minutes, and he lets them run for a little bit. But when it comes down to like playoff time and crunch time, he kind of settles in on his best 11. He rolls with it, and this team kind of performs late in the season. We went on a run last year, a 7-1-1 run after losing to Orlando in early September. And then all the way to the penalty loss against Washington. If you think back to 2023, the playoffs where Gotham locks in and runs their way to the championship. And this season seems to be poised to do a similar run. Your thoughts on that, Noela?
Surprised, to be honest, because like you said, this has sort of been his playbook since first joining the club, that he's been unafraid to experiment and try different combinations of players. And it's needed, honestly, when you have so many talented players on your roster. I was just reading an article just this morning about how now that like Lavelle is fully integrated into like starting again games, and obviously playing in the midfield with Howell, and you've got Shapansky as well. Like, talking about how Juan Carlos Amaros has to really think about playing them and what those minutes are going to look like for all those players. I think that's why it is so important for him to rotate and try these different combinations, because when you have this sort of high level roster and this high level bench, you need to understand what is best suited for which game. And like we've talked about, home games are different from away games, and those tactics are going to change. So I think it's really impressive and really exciting to see a coach execute that. I think probably, I mean, we're biased. I think I'm biased, but I think he might be the best coach in the league right now who understands how to properly rotate his team and his players.
Yeah, he does a lot of little things that other coaches don't do. We mentioned it before about he always seems to be able to find a way to like get players a couple of games in, and I think that works so much for the development, for getting them in the flow of the game, to understand the tactics, and I think again he does a lot of experimenting during the season, and when it comes crunch time, he kind of turns it in. And yeah, I agree with you that he's definitely, if he's not the best, he's one of the best coaches in the league. Now, hero of the match, fans voted Shaw debut goal at 52% over Howell, Esther, and Lavelle. Your thoughts on giving the hero of the match to Shaw?
I don't think they're wrong by any chance. I think we've talked about it all the time. The fans are always right. For me, I'm just from like a tactics and like a game momentum shifting. I would give it to Esther just because again that first goal away in a game like this where it's sort of those first 10-15 minutes again I was a little bit concerned in terms of just like how much they were pressing and trying to take advantage of that right flank. But Esther being able to get that first goal set the tone for the game, and like you said, forces the Wave to have to come out and attack and opens up a lot of channels and spaces for Gotham to then counterattack. For me, it was Esther, but Shaw, of course, it's exciting to see her come on and make an impact.
Yeah. Fan thoughts over on Instagram. Calamachia, I hope I'm saying that right. I think they're really starting to gel. Everyone's healthy, learning how to connect. Everyone looked good, but I'm going to go with Howell holding it down the midfield. Of course, AKB has to be mentioned. RC Stewart says I think they need to pick one of Portillo or Jace to start games, which I agree with. Or only two actual mids to start the game is too open, in my opinion. I agree. Other than that, full strength lineup should terrify this league. Again, agree. Rachel's mom said, great game. Purse didn't score, but fabulous game. Great team win. The points this team has dropped this year, I would love to have back. Yeah, agree. They would be right up there. Yes, they would be. Losses or ties against teams that they should have absolutely beat. Yes, we will get into that, but like, good teams beat teams they're supposed to beat, and Gotham has not been a good team this season when it comes to that. They have not put away bottom table teams or teams that they are supposed to put away. And I have Howell in this one just because of the second goal. I think she's playing better than everybody in the league. Yeah, she's on a roll. She's up for Player of the Month, I think, of last month, which I think is a shoe-in, but again, we're biased. Stats of the game, I think the players that showed off this game were Lavelle and Howell. Lavelle played 77 minutes. She had 7 of 9 ground duels won. I think that's like the thing that jumps out to me about Lavelle is you look at her and she's not the biggest player. She doesn't look like she's that fast, and then you see her running. You're like, okay, how did she get from there to there so quickly? It's still like, shocks me sometimes with how fast she is. But I think the thing that gets her is I think she is braver. Her mind is braver than her body. She throws her body into all these tackles and all these things, and like sometimes her body just isn't able to handle it, so she ends up injured a lot. But she won 7 of 9 duels. She had 3 of 3 successful dribbles. She had 11 recoveries, 5 chances created, just all over the field. An amazing performance from Rose. Now Howell, on the other hand, is built for battle. She won 8 of 9 duels, 6 of 7 aerial duels, 3 of 4 of her tackles. She had an assist. Well done, Jalen. That's why I picked her to be the hero of the match for this one. And she simply owned the middle of the park. It's just one big firestorm in the middle of the park as far as our heat map. Any final thoughts before we jump to the next game?
Just excited to see, like our first comment, kind of much of it said, the team is properly gelling together. They're finding their connections together. And I mean, listen, the stats don't lie. Like, those ground duel won and I mean, for me, the biggest note from there was the chances created by Lavelle. Like, she's so smart and she has such a great vision of the field. So seeing this combination in the midfield is really, really, really exciting.
I probably could have picked Lavelle too, but like sometimes like I expect it from her.
Yeah.
I don't know, like she's just awesome. And like, okay, that's par for the course for her. Yeah, she would have to do something really spectacular to like get me to think she had an amazing game
Ahead of
because
her
she's
bar.
yeah, her bar's so high. Going to Vancouver, this is true. It is an academy team. Most of these players are anywhere from like 15, 16 to 20 years old. Vancouver Rise absorbed the Vancouver Whitecaps academy team, so it's their academy now. They could send players down to this game. They only sent down, I think, their backup keeper for this game. So this is pretty much an academy team lineup, and it's wild. Just I'm just gonna put this out there. You look and you look at the camera pans to the Rise's academy team's bench, and it's just like a regular coach. Young players just sitting there doing things, and then they pan over to Gotham's like bench, and it's like Juan Carlos has got his like. There's three coaches, earpieces in. They got all their iPads and like it's like this whole technological thing. It's just funny to see the difference between these two teams, the way they're set up, and how this Gotham is a little over the top. Anyway, they put together a pretty decent lineup for this one, and it's kind of crazy rolling into like against an academy team with a FIFA World Best 11 player in the starting lineup. Portillo is. Stengel up top, Shapansky, Hasbo, Shaw gets the start, getting her integrated pretty quickly into the team. Sophia Cook, who I thought looked good in this game, Real, Freeman, Duran, and Harper at the back line, and Ryan Campbell gets the start. Good for her. I'm glad she got the start. Just any thoughts on that lineup at all?
Happy to see, I think, some of the players who hadn't been getting as many minutes, like just be able to hop on, get the experience, get the playing time. I think, like we're going to talk about later, like Hasbo, I think, does a really good job just hopping in and really dictating a lot of like plays in the middle of the field and on the left side. So I was really happy to see.
I think Hasbro's going to be an early fan favorite. I think she's going to be fun to watch. This is definitely a David versus Goliath match. And first, just good on the Vancouver Rise Academy team. They did not shy away from this game. They played Washington. That's pretty crazy to be like in that age group and to be able to play like Trinity Rodman and the Washington Spirit. And now you're playing against Astaire and Gabby and like, you know what I mean? Like this, it's just wild to be able to play that kind of players at that age. That's got to be pretty crazy. I imagine you were not playing players at that age, Noela.
Not at all. I don't know how I would react, to be honest, but the experience for
Yeah,
those players, I'm sure, must be really. I mean, they'll learn from it 100%.
no doubt. And they played hard. I think they're going to learn a lot from the experiences. They're going to be better for it. And getting a goal against Gotham, I mean, that's something you're going to remember for the rest of your life. I mean, every young player that played in that game was dreaming of that moment to get a goal against a team like Gotham or Washington, and to just the ball goes over the top. Duran gets beat a little bit, but is what it is. Campbell is still learning, and she realized pretty quickly that she's not Ann Katzenberger yet. She can't be that far off her line, and hits the post, gets the rebound. I mean, it's just good for them. At that point, it was 2-0. This was really interesting for Gotham because I felt they played more of they played more in a three back, and they kind of let Duran just hunt. She was up the left side. She was up in the box. She was adding more numbers to the midfield, and it was basically like Mandy Freeman just holding it down, and then Haswell would drop in as a second center back if they needed it to. But Duran gets up the left side, plays a great ball in. Haswell gets her first, and Real puts the ball across. Stengel puts the ball in the back of the net. That's like clinical finishes. Well done for the team. It was a good start.
I think we're going to talk about later also. I think the team was a little bit passive in certain moments of the game, also just because, like, possession wise, I know we're going to look at like it was overwhelmingly in favor of Gotham. So with that one goal that like we kind of let up a little bit early on, it sort of that like it was good on Vancouver, absolutely, to be able to take advantage of that and take advantage of the situation. And I think therefore was able to read the play really well. But I also know that in those types of games where you do feel like I think you made a note of it early on, or in the notes. It's more of a like a David and Goliath sort of situation. I think it was pretty evident that they were kind of just going through the motions. So it made sense.
Yeah, we mentioned Juan Carlos earlier about how he coaches, and I think this game in particular, he wanted to try stuff. You noticed like on the set pieces, especially like the corner kicks, they were trying like a couple of different looks, like going near post and trying to flick it to the middle of the box. And so this is a game where you're expected to win and you want to win, but like this is also a game where you want to try stuff. So I think Gotham tried a couple of things in this game that were different, sending both real far up the wing, sending Duran into the box. So it was, again, it's a more of an experimental game as well, and results matter, but not really. So I think Gotham got what they needed out of this game. They got the win. They moved on. Goal differential matters. But speaking of difference makers, I think I mentioned Duran being a bit rogue in this game, and I liked it. I think is quite an athlete. She's fast. She's strong. She just belongs at this level. And it's, again, I feel like it's a crime that she wasn't picked up earlier or last season and not playing. It's just wild to me. Your thoughts on Duran being kind of the answer? Gotham was having issues early in the season with defensive depth, and to be able to pick up a player who, essentially from free agency, a young player, a rookie, and seems to be filling in pretty well.
I will say she definitely made a case for herself to be considered in future games and in moments that she can potentially assist and try and because it was surprising for me to see her so far off the field and wanting
Hmm.
to contribute and make some of these decisions that she was making. I think, even just looking at the tactics of Amoros, I'm not it's a player profile that I think matches what he kind of wants. Someone who is very versatile, someone who obviously is very strong defensively, like that's obviously her position, but has a mindset to go forward, has an idea of how to look at the game moving forward and trying to attack and create opportunities. So uh, I think I think she might have, I don't know, maybe made him think more, consider her more moving forward. She made a case for herself.
Yeah, another player that made a case for herself was Hasbo. She's such a fun player. She can play deep in the midfield. She can break lines. I thought she was great in the attack. And it is, she's probably like Esther size, right? 5'1", 5'2", maybe.
I think she's 5'3", 5'3". I only say
5'3".
that because I'm a
Okay.
5'3" girly, so like we need a respect. We're average height for the world.
Yeah, she got some ups. Good goal from her. Got up, got a diving header for her first goal. Well done. Uh, just your thoughts on Hasbo's performance this game.
I think also for this game, she was in a position where she was receiving the ball a lot and facilitating and moving the ball really well. Just because of again like the format of the field and or the format of the tactics, I want to say. So she was filtering in and out the ball really really well. That I will say, like we talked about just like a few minutes ago, the midfield position for this team is just so competitive to get into. So I don't know how he may consider like rotating her in and out. But she had a strong game though, so very happy to see.
You are correct. She is 5'3".
I
That's
gotta know.
funny.
I gotta support my 5'3" girlies. I have to.
Yeah. The second half, Gotham it's 2-1 in the half, and then I think they expected to put Esther on the field just to get her keep running out, get her keep her in form and things like that. But it kind of felt like what's that Michael Jordan meme where it's like the like F those kids. Um, I thought it was like Amros going to halftime. Like, okay, I'm tired of these kids. So he throws us there. She scores within the first 90 seconds of the game. And it's like, okay, we're done. And they kind of settle in. And then Bernina gets one late in the match. Good for her. Her hard work's paying off. She was excellent. But yeah, like we said, like got what they needed out of the game. We move on. No injuries. On to Washington
Yes,
and hopefully out of the group.
no injuries.
Yeah. So we have Washington left, and only Monterey can catch us. They would have to like really put a hurting on Alianza and Vancouver Whitecaps, and I think they also have to play Washington as well. So there's a chance they could catch us, but most likely they would have to win out and win big every game. So I think we're pretty good. Gotham, if Gotham beats Washington, we're through. If they tie, we're probably through. If we lose, we might need help, but otherwise, I'm pretty sure that we're are through to the semifinals. On the other side, Orlando just put a hurting on Chirilo. And then I think they're our top of their group. Club America is probably going to get through. It's probably either Orlando or Club America in the semifinals. That's going to be some good games coming up. What are your thoughts on this tournament so far?
I think it's been good. Obviously, we don't want to see like blowout games, and we don't want like clubs to come in and kind of get battered. And I think just some of the games, like in Group A, I think were a little tough to watch, just because like the level was such a big difference. And obviously, like in this game, it is exciting for the players from Vancouver to get this experience. But I don't know. I have mixed feelings, just in terms of like level and like how competitive it is. But on the flip side, though, on the positive note, it is important, I think, to have these different tournaments, have these different opportunities to play aside from the league, because again, Juan Carlos Ramos is able to rotate players, try different combinations. Different players are able to get more exposure. There's more playing time for a lot of different players that wouldn't play normally in the league, in league games. So I don't think it's bad at all. And obviously, once we start getting into semifinal final games, that's where obviously we'll see some of these teams really pop in and want to compete and obviously win. So it's I have mixed feelings, but it's been good to see them succeed though and win these games.
Next season, the Northern Super League will be a participant in this. This year, just because they weren't set up yet, this is why there's an academy team in there.
Right.
So the level's going to jump up next year. So hopefully we'll have a better quality of matchups next season. I like this tournament. Again, timing is always a pain in the butt when you're getting close to playoff time. You don't want to be flying all the way to Vancouver, at this time of year. I like this tournament. I think it's fun, and obviously the end result of playing the best teams in the world. Happy that we're winning. Let's talk about some thoughts from fans. Nick Clayton over on Blue Sky said, "Great to see Hasbro get on the board and continually impressed by Duran. We both are as well. Felt like it showed an unnerving amount of desperation to sub in Esther when they did, but I never turned down the opportunity to watch her play. I think that they were just putting her in just to get her run out, to keep her in form. Yes." But I totally it does give that impression. Gotham was like, okay, we need to do something here. These kids are playing this too hard. But stat wise, it was 18 shots to 6. It was 5 shots on target to 1. They scored their 1 goal, 1 shot on target. 81% possession. Gotham had 699 passes, 87% passing accuracy. They held Vancouver to less than 50% pass accuracy, which is hard to do on any level. 10 corners for Gotham, 0 for Vancouver. Anything jump out at you as far as the stats?
Has to be possession, right?
Right.
It's incredible to see that 81% possession. For me, I'm big on like wanting to keep the ball, retain the ball. So that for me was crazy.
Only 699 passes. Couldn't get 700? What's going on here? That's a lot of passes. Anyway, 4 fouls each. Just a quick ref note. Like, again, I don't mention refs on the podcast, but like it felt like there were pockets of this game where I was like, is there a ref? Because like their players were getting like fouled over and over again. It's like, okay, where's the whistle? Where's going on here? And there's a couple fouls in the box where I was like, okay, nothing. Like, did she sleep? Is she asleep? What's going on here? But yeah, so comment from Noxious Whims on Blue Sky said the second half was much better. Obviously, you got Xterra on the field. Ref definitely missed some fouls in the box, no doubt. It would be nice, but Gotham didn't need those goals. Then Antonella said the refereeing was abysmal in this match, and I agree. Yeah.
I will say really
hero of the
quickly.
match. Oh, yeah. Good.
Oh, sorry. I will say really quickly about like refing. Sometimes I find that like when there is a team that's like so dominant, there are some refs that kind of, I think, unconsciously like have pity for other teams, and so they will try and like turn a blind eye to some of these things. But I don't know. Like you said, we didn't really need it, so.
Yeah. Hero of the match, Shapansky, who we didn't mention earlier, had 50% of the vote. Hasbo, Duran, and Stengel also ran. Your thoughts on Shapansky? We didn't talk about her.
Szymanski definitely had a good game. Full 90 minutes for her, which I think was important also, just to get through the full match. Uh, for me personally, I did think Hasbo was more dominant in terms of filtering in this possession. So that's the reason why I was kind of leaning towards her. But it was good to see Szymanski more up forward and creating more opportunities and trying to take advantage. It would have been nice, I think, obviously, for her to have gotten on the score sheet. But I think it's a routine game for her, to be honest. And I don't know if it's a hero, but I think she did do well.
So who would have been your hero?
Me would be Hasbo. Again, just because of the lack of playing time and her coming in and doing so well and fitting in so well into the system. But that's just me.
Yeah, I got Hasbo as well. Shapansky, as we talked earlier, I'm not sure if there's a better player in the league with time and space with the ball at her feet. She was threading balls over the top and just like it just lands right in the right spot every time to the right foot. Just eagle-eyed. I think she's incredible and glad that she's re-signed with the team. But yeah, I got Hasbo. I thought Hasbo was excellent all over the field, and especially jumping in as another central defender, which again, she's a little powerhouse, this player. We love our Harvard midfielders. Let's jump back to the standings for the regular season. Gotham jumps up to third place. However, it's crazy because there is 4 teams stuck at 30, one team at 29. So we are still in danger. We are closer to being out of the playoffs than we are to grabbing second place. It's crazy. There's a lot going on, so we're still scoreboard watching. KC, no one's catching them. They made it through. They drew against Washington, so it's like, okay, what it is. We are at third place at 30 points. The only reason we are in third place and everyone else is behind us is because of goal differential. We have a minimum 4 goal differential on Portland, then 6 on San Diego, and 7 on the Seattle Reign. So they got some catching up to do, even if we end up at the same points. Then Orlando is slipping. They've won one of their last 5 games. I am panicking if I'm an Orlando fan. And Racing Louisville this is a team that always confuses me because they're always the only team above the line with a negative goal differential and a pretty large one too. I don't know how they pull that off. I guess they just lose big. But they're hanging on for dear life because the Carolina Courage is 1 point behind them and Houston Dash is 3 points behind them. And both of them are in better form than they are. So worried about them as well. But I just want to give a quick shout out to Ellie Jean. I think she's having an excellent season. And it's good to see her, as a former Gotham player, finding a spot in a home and playing so well as she has this season. We love her. But Noah, your thoughts on this middle of the table? Gotham is in a pretty interesting situation with a couple of games left.
Like you said, I think the biggest thing here is goal differential. And more specifically for me is like goals against the team. They're the second lowest out of all the teams. So even lower than like Washington Spirit. And I used to have a coach that like would love that like one statistic of like how well defensively can we prevent teams from scoring. So 17, over 20 matches. I mean, it's not bad. I don't think it's bad at all. I do think what we're probably going to talk about later on when we look forward to the Bay FC game is that we should have won a lot of games early on in the season that we didn't. And that's kind of putting us in this situation. I don't think anyone's panicking though. I don't think we're panicking. I don't think the team's panicking. I don't think fans should panic either. But it is obviously a little stressful to have to, constantly be refreshing and seeing how other teams are doing as well.
It does feel like last season where that loss 5 games ago kind of set the tone where now Gotham has won 3 of their last 4, 3 in a row. So we're in a good spot right now, and hopefully we climb the table. The only thing that's interesting is that Gotham is playing basically top table teams from here on out, outside of Bay FC. So it's not going to be easy. Buckle up, fans. It's going to be a wild ride to the finish. Games this weekend. We have Angel City versus Washington Spirit. Where's Angel City at this point? 11th place, 23 points. I let Angel City beat Washington. We got to catch them. And Orlando Pride, North Carolina Courage, draw, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. What do you think?
I think the Pride is very, very desperate to turn around like some of these like recent losses. So I think they're going to come out and have to produce a win.
Yeah. Houston Dash, Chicago Stars. Let's go Chicago. Chicago's rolling right now. What do they got? They won one of their last two games, and I think they drew. They're unbeaten in five or something. They
They're
drew
trouble.
four games.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, Mike Tani and Jenna Bike. Let them clear the path for us. So let's go. Let's go Chicago. Utah and Racing. I don't know. I guess Utah. Paige Monahan is finding form again. Amani Dorsey's back on the field. Let's go Utah. And then we got KC and Seattle. Got to root for KC. Seattle's with us at 30. Yep. Yep. Got to root for KC. Portland Thorns and San Diego Wave draw. They're both at the same as us. Best we can hope for, right? Nobody gaining 3 points. Then we got the last game of the weekend is Bay and Gotham FC. Your thoughts going into this one?
A game that is a must win. Obviously, pick up the points. No injuries, hopefully. I think the matchups are overwhelmingly in our favor. So, just like lineup wise, I think it should be a strong showing for Gotham, and I think they should go out and play well. And listen, we're away. We're a great away team. I think it works in our favor.
Yes, 8:30 p.m. on Sunday, PayPal Park, San Jose, ESPN2. Gotham has dominated this matchup, as you mentioned. Bay FC will be desperate to change that narrative. They're playing spoiler at this point. They really don't have much of a chance to make the playoffs. So it's going to be tough for them, but Gotham is excellent on the road. I expect Gotham to come out with 3 points here. And again, as you mentioned, every game is a must win from here on out. This is Gotham's game to lose. Bay's strength has always been their midfield, and I think with Howell, Shaw, and Lavelle, I think that we should be pretty hard to contain there as well. And as we mentioned, good teams beat the teams they're supposed to. Gotham is supposed to beat Bay FC this weekend. So yeah. Noela, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about how women's sports in general is growing at such a rapid pace. The NWSL is growing at such a rapid pace. ESPN and ABC is going to broadcast 36 matches in 2026 now. They're expanding their coverage, including all 8 on Decision Day and 3 playoff games. I love Decision Day. The audience for an ABC ESPN grew 72% compared to 2024. What a huge turnaround, and that's such good for the league. Just your initial thoughts on that.
About damn time. I'm sorry. Am I allowed to say
Mm-hmm.
that?
Yeah.
It's about damn time. I always find these like stats kind of interesting where like I don't know, like they'll say like, oh, women's sports viewership has like increased by like X% amount. But then the other part is like, but it's the first time that it's being shown so consistently and so like accessible that like would it not have already been that way if it had already been showing? So sometimes I find those stats a little interesting, funny, but no, it's obviously very exciting. The yeah, I have no other thoughts. It's about damn time.
Yeah.
It's about damn time.
Speaking of accessibility, this year has been okay for Gotham. We've been on like pretty much the same streaming platform, but there's like 10 of them.
Yeah,
And
that's
now
unfortunate.
next season, there's going to be another one. This one is going to be a free one, which is fine. Anytime it's a free service, I'm happy for. It's always better than where we started, right? I was a fan when like it was like Go 90 and Yahoo Sports and like oh gosh, and like some of the games were like only on the web, and like you had to use like a browser to get there, and like that was craziness. So glad we made that jump up. And so there's like a platform called Victory Plus, right? Everything's a plus. It's going to be a free platform, and it's going to show a bunch of games next season. It's going to be over 55 games, including 25 exclusive Sunday night broadcasts. The partnership announced in September 2025 expands in NWSL's media rights and reach, providing more options for fans to watch games in the coming season. Obviously, we like that it's free. We like that it makes the game more accessible, more free games, more people can watch it. Yes, it's like another platforms, but yeah. Other than that, what are your thoughts on expanding the coverage to another app, but free?
Listen, I'm hopeful. I hope it goes well. I hope it's like it runs smoothly. The only drawback obviously is like we're unsure like the how it'll like I guess like be put through. Sometimes like not all apps are like supported by like all like TVs and everything, or just like certain like web browsers won't open up certain things. But it's exciting, and I think if it's accessible, that's for me that's always been really important.
And also, do want to talk to you specifically about this. I know you're big into youth development and your coaching and all that stuff. So, NWSL was the first major league to get rid of the draft. I enjoyed covering the draft. I just don't. I didn't like anything about the draft. So I'm glad that that's gone. So what do the teams do now? Now that there's no expansion draft, now that there's no college draft, like how do they build? How they build their rosters, especially with Boston coming in and Denver coming in. So they added a lot of allocation money to these teams, but they're also adding an NWSL combine for the first time, which I find quite interesting. It's going to be where players go, play in a couple of games. They do a little bit of training with the coaches, and they hopefully get contracts and picked up there or get on the radar of some teams. So that's going to be very interesting as well. It again will showcase these players that are super, super talented. There's going to be two combines. There's going to be an adult combine, which is it's just funny. Adult combine is U18 to U23. And that will feature the nation's top college players, while the youth combine, U13 to U17, will spotlight rising talent in a high impact professional level, evaluating session, giving both groups a unique platform to take their steps into the next level of the NWSL. Your thoughts on this development?
Two thoughts. So I
Hmm.
think for the adult combine, where it is college age players, I think it's a really promising setup because again, a lot of these players are being evaluated already on a constant basis by different coaches. There's like different like the NCAA, like in general, is always evaluating for like some of these awards for best player. So there is a lot of like accessibility and coverage, and we're watching again with the more accessible games, and now that games are being showed more, I think it's going to be a really great opportunity to bring up some of these players that are having successful seasons and putting them all together in this environment. The youth combine for me, I'm interested slash worried about how this is going to be selected and kind of like pulled forward from, just because so like I am a youth soccer coach, and for me I have players that, so just for some context, we've got some players that are around this age and they're trying out currently for like ODP teams, and they're trying out for like youth national teams for their countries and their like parents' countries. And for me, it was always interesting just seeing the difference in how the viewership and how like people like observe these players, because like back when I was like playing, like ODP used to be like the main like I think gateway to trying to eventually make pools for national teams or like regional teams and then like state teams. And now from what I've understood at least is that it's not a one clear pathway, that there are different ways that you can be exposed, I think, to some of these and these youth teams. So I'm just wondering, like, how, like, what will dictate, like, where these players are going to be selected or chosen from? Like, are there going to be a certain X amount of players from New York, X amount of players from California? Like, what is that number going to look like? Because, we can't invite, like, too many players. And then also, are they going to just be looking at big clubs, which for me has always been a big thing because bigger clubs do produce great talent and players, but there's an accessibility problem there because, if you can't pay for those teams, you're not going to be exposed and you might not be seen by certain things like this. So for the adult combine, I think it makes sense because again, those games are constantly being monitored and evaluated by different people, and I'm sure the league is going to dedicate people to filter through and analyze different players' highlights. The youth level for me, I'm just concerned about like how and where and what criteria is going to be considered to pull out some of these players. It's promising and I'm excited, but as always, there's going to be some things that I'm sure it's going to be tricky to try and figure out at the beginning.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on the accessibility part. Like, where are these players coming from? Are these inner city kids that, or are these going to be again big club teams and rich neighborhoods, or that have a leg up on talent? So yeah, I agree with you. That's something that we should definitely monitor. There should be more equity in this game, and This is interesting because we're in an interesting spot because we have teams with a lot of the NWSL teams are starting to have two teams. So there's going to be developmental teams coming, which is great. Then you're going to have the combine. I feel like at the college level, I think the game tape is out there. Like, I don't know. I feel like if your teams have good scouting, they'll be able to find the players. I don't think the combine is necessarily necessary. The youth players may be a good way to get them some highlight films and to get into a pro environment. How young is too young, and all those thoughts aside, this is definitely an interesting turn of events, and I think it's a positive thing. We do need more talent pipelines, so it's a step in the right direction for me.
Yes.
But I share your concerns
Yes.
about the accessibility part as well. So this game this Sunday, any manifestations for this game?
Win, no injuries. Win and no injuries.
There you
That's
go.
it.
I'm going for an Esther brace. She needs to climb that golden boot race. Let's go. Let's punish Bay FC and get out of there. Any random thoughts before we head out?
Yeah, just quickly, like I've been getting a lot of ads, or not ads. I've been getting like a lot of like posts on TikTok about like this sports bar, this women's sports bar in New York, Wilco's. I don't know if you've seen it. Apparently, it's gotten like pretty big recently. It just opened up this year, I'm pretty sure. And they've been showing, if I'm not mistaken, they've got like 20 like big like TVs, and they're all showing like women's sports, and obviously they're going to show the Liberty game. They've been showing Gotham games. So yeah, just shout out to Wilco's if you haven't been there. I haven't been there. I kind of want to go, and I mean I'm always working, but I think it'd be cool to go check it out and like be able to watch with like a whole bunch of like different like fans from all these teams.
That would be fun. And that specifically like type of bars are popping up all over the place, which is awesome.
Yes.
So again, it speaks to the growth of the league and the sports and things like that. Just in general, obviously this podcast itself is soccer over Gotham, but we include things about like the Liberty. We like the Liberty. We like the Sirens. We're fans of Brooklyn FC now, the New York Exiles, the New York Charging, and just every single league, every one that I just mentioned, the WNBA, the PWHL, the USL Super League, all the rugby leagues, the Charging, that are all growing at such a record pace, and there's record-breaking viewership for each one of those leagues. They're getting strong corporate partnerships, which is an amazing thing. And the fan feedback from all of these leagues they all seem to be doing it the right way. Everyone seems to be satisfied players seem to be satisfied with these leagues, and every single one of them is expanding as well, which is a good thing. And each one of them has their own little media rights deal. And the lacrosse league that just started last year, they only did like a small tournament, which I found was a lot of fun, super fun. And they're expanding. They're going to do a full season in 2026, expanding teams, and ESPN picked them up for all their games. So it's just like more accessible. It's more fun, and yeah, I'm just happy that all that is growing.
And I'll make a quick note as well. Like we've got some really good lacrosse players here in New York. Like I remember growing up, like in high school, like we had some of the. In my high school, we had two of like the best national team players competing. So it's like we've got talent. It's just a matter of investment and exposure. So excited and hopefully waiting to see that continued growth for the women's lacrosse league.
Yeah, Long Island just again built differently. Every time I meet someone from Long Island, I'm like, oh, like that's like the soccer. That's the place for soccer, and they always make sure to go and
And
lacrosse.
lacrosse. No, it is. It is. I don't even play lacrosse, and I make the same distinction as well. I'm like, no,
Yeah,
we're pretty good at lacrosse.
yeah, yeah. So it's I don't know what do we got going on over there. It's craziness. But yeah, I just have one random thought. I do the Big Brother program, so I have my little, and I'm trying to like get on his level and like be interested in things that he's interested in. We got tickets to go see the movie Demon Slayer, the anime cartoon, but I've had like 2 weeks to watch like all these shows, and it's like
Did you
I'm
watch it?
trying to fit it in. It's a lot. I'm like one episode from the first season finishing, so I have like 4 days to like watch 3 seasons. I don't know how I'm going to pull it off, but
You
Do you
got
ever
it.
watch that show?
I have friends that are a big fan of it. I haven't
Uh-huh.
personally gotten into it, but I've seen episodes here and there. I would say, I don't know, I don't even know. 3 seasons left before the movie, you
Yeah.
said?
Yeah. The first
You
season
have
was like
such
26 episodes, and then like the rest of them were like 7 or 8 episodes or something like that.
okay.
So it's yeah, they're all like 20-minute episodes. Like that's gonna kill me, but I'm trying to get it done.
Listen,
We'll see what happens.
if anyone can make time to like somehow like get it all in, it's you, because you were telling me about your schedule for today and I was like, I don't know how you're doing all that today.
Yeah, I want to read a book. That's all I want to do. Why can't the world just let me relax and read a book?
You don't need it. I'm just kidding. You do. We should read more.
Yeah, indeed. I've read 14 books since May. I'm pretty excited about that. So not bad. All right, we will see you all on the next week. Yeah, Ruby's back from vacation. Should be back to our normal schedule. I can't keep track of you guys. You guys are on vacation like every other week.
It's fine.
All right, so we will see you all soon. Let's go.